Okay, we are recording. The time 6:34, Mr. Chairman, and we do have a quorum here at council chambers.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. And thanks everybody's patience for tonight's Zoom meeting. And thanks for joining us. So I will call to order the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting of Thursday, February 18th, and take roll. So get sound out for my board members when you hear your name called. Myself, Sean Michael Janssen.
Here.
Thank you, Sean Michael. Esteban Colina.
Here.
Here.
Here, awesome, thank you. Jason Alberici. Okay, absent. Joey Costanzo.
I'm here.
Awesome, thank you. Phil Cranmer. Absent today. And our newest member, Jamie Tucker. I thought I saw her on here a minute ago. Oh, there you are. Thank you, Jamie. Welcome. And we'll come back to you. To kick off the meeting, those of you in City Hall and those of you at home will now say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item on today's agenda is to approve the meeting agenda. And I think we want to make one change, Tom, or maybe two, right?
Mr. Chairman, I'd recommend making two changes, maybe introduction of the new member and that moving that up, also moving up the under item 9. Provider check-ins also move up.
Yep. Those would make sense. I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda as modified.
It's a motion.
I thought Joe was gonna do it. I'll make a motion to move item 8, new business, up to, I guess, before approval of minutes, and same with item 9A, program provider check-ins.
Okay. Motion by Sean Michael. Do I have a second? I hear a second in the distance. Say you, Joey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. That being said, let's start. We'll do it in two phases. Let's start with Jamie, if you will, as our newest member. I didn't get to come last night to see you sworn in at City Hall. So why don't you take a couple minutes and introduce yourself to those of us on the Parks and Rec Board, as well as those of our program providers that are in attendance tonight.
Just 1 second, she's working on it.
Yeah. There we go. All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Jamie Tucker. I am from California. We moved here in August. I've got 3 children, a husband, and 6 dogs. Keeps me busy. I also work full time. One of the reasons that I chose Milton, it was when I came to Georgia, I had no idea where I wanted to live. And we looked everywhere. We went north, east, south, west. In 1 week, I must have seen 35 houses. And when I got to Milton, I just fell in love with Milton. And I think one of the things that drew me to Milton was definitely the trees, the environment, the people. It's just a beautiful, beautiful city. And so I fell in love with it right away. And I wanted to volunteer as quickly as I could. And so it was just luck and happenstance that I got connected to Tom. It might have been through Brenda Hampstead. I can't remember, but I knew her from church. So it was just very, very fortunate that there happened to be an opening. And I think Tom and I clicked really well. And that's it. Now I'm here. So thank you.
Welcome, Jamie. We're glad to have you on our board. You'll find, I hope you'll enjoy your tenure with us, and there's certainly a lot of fun things you'll learn about the city in your participation. So, you know, our city's, California's loss is our city of Milton's gain. So thanks for joining us. Tom, before we go to the program provider check-ins, let's talk about the minutes and get that out of the way. Everybody on the board, Tom submitted the minutes to us in advance. If there are no comments or concerns about the minutes, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Joey. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Sean Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, great. I should, before we get into the heart of our meeting, if there is anyone here for public comment. Tom, has anybody filed a public comment card with us for the meeting, or anybody in attendance? Public comments a time for our citizens to share information with us and provide some input on matters that are not scheduled for its own hearing during today's meeting. So if there's anybody who's joined us today in this virtual meeting, we've got quite a steady panel, 20 participants I see. Is there anybody here to speak on something that we're not going to talk about? Now would be your chance to raise your hand and speak up.
Mr. Chairman, I see nobody in the lobby outside of program providers.
Okay.
So I will
Awesome.
make the assumption there are no public comment.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tom. All righty, then let's move to item 9A, program provider check-ins. And Tom, I'll let you kick off this session and maybe speak for a moment about our meeting setup today.
Okay. We've made this meeting more of an annual February meeting where we get all of our programs providers together. It's just an opportunity for you to connect with the Parks and Rec Board and connect with each other as well. I love this example of last year when we had two of our programs that I believe it was sparked from this meeting. It didn't happen during the meeting, but two of our programs got together and put together a joint program, turned 2 half-day camps into a full-day camp. Unfortunately, we ran into COVID and definitely hindered our opportunity to put it together and make it happen. But that's one example of, you know, something I hope could potentially happen in the future. Not necessarily partnering up and doing that, but you know, sharing ideas and you know, if someone's having an issue or a challenge, you know, another program provider might have a good solution. So that's you know, that's half the reason we're here, and the other half is just to, you know, let the Parks and Rec Board make them aware of what you're doing and what things are working. You know, we for this, during this over Zoom, and it's going to be a little more challenging. So the plan here is to, you know, myself or Thomas will call on the programs one at a time, and you can speak. And then if someone's got a comment, or if, you know, someone's got ideas that might help a program, raise your hand, and I'll make sure I call you out. And if that's not working, we'll come up with something else. Let's see. So yeah, if everyone can just stay muted until it's your turn. We're looking to hear, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly as to, you know, what's going on with your programs. I know, you know, some of us, for instance, swim, you know, hasn't had much happening lately in the past year and a half, but you know, hopefully this summer is a little better. And you got anything to add, Mr. Chairman or Tom?
No, so it'll be a fun discussion, and we'll try and keep it to a dull roar. but it'll be as interactive as we can. So if you just be respectful of everybody and patient with us. Would you for a moment though, Tom, back up and just speak? This is not normal for me to be running the Parks and Rec board from home. So that's not my normal MO, but I had my own little COVID scare in our household today, which precluded me from coming into City Hall. And Tom, you want to just give everybody the update on the city clerk's opinion on that?
Yes. So because we have a quorum here at City Hall, our is still able to run this meeting from home. If we only had 3 here, he would not count as being in attendance. But because of a quorum, he can and act as chairman.
So welcome to the arcane rules of working in the public sector. So thanks for everybody's patience with that. Thomas, I'll let you figure out the batting order today, and let's hear from our partners.
All right, so what I'm going to use is the way they're listed on my participants list. So our first will be Star and Amanda.
Hey, I'm Star. Amanda's also on this call, but we're not in the same house. So I'm speaking and she'll interject if she wants to add anything. There she is. We are hopefully this year going to be able to do our program, which we're called the Photo Creative, which we actually did a little bit of changing of the name for that. But we were at this meeting last year and then COVID hit. And so we didn't actually get to do anything. So we don't have anything to compare it to, but we are hoping to launch beginning photo classes, kind of boot camps, introduction to photography. We're also toying with the idea. We're working on a curriculum today, fine tuning for a spring break camp for possibly teens and tweens, and also wanting to expand that for a camp in the summer for teens and tweens as well. We have been friends and known each other for quite some time. We both have professional photography degrees and businesses, and we really enjoy teaching. And we have also a background in teaching. So through some schools in town, but we really enjoy the art, and we really wanted to give that opportunity to adults and also teens and tweens, because I feel like, I have a 15-year-old son who goes to Milton, and I feel like once they kind of hit that teen tween age, there's not really as many programs for them unless they're like hardcore sports or advanced dance. And so we're kind of just like filling in a little bit of a creative gap for the people who are still trying to figure out what they're interested in or expand on just learning more creative stuff. So we're hoping to get started potentially March and April. And again, like I said, spring break camp, we're going to try it out, maybe like a 2-day camp. And that's really about it. But we're excited. We're excited that we're actually going to be able to try it.
Yeah, and we know the area is like really sports heavy. So we want to help fill that gap with the arts world. And even though we are a really large active community, we just need the 5%. We need the 5% of kids that need something to do in a creative outlet, or even the athletes that just love photo. So we are hoping to build a well-rounded program from age 11 all the way up to 80. So like she mentioned with our summer camps, we will also have a series of like boot camps and intensives that'll be 2-day things, 1-day things for working adults, 4-week classes or 3-week classes. So we have a lot of programming out there for people with a variety of backgrounds. So we just want to bring the fun and the creative arts into Milton, and also partner with any of you guys that may be in the art world also, or might be looking to add a photo component in some way. So we're really excited to be here. Again, part 2, I think, from last year's meeting for sure. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Tom, for everybody's benefit, where's the photography classes programming being held?
We're looking to do the classroom settings of Community Place, potentially Bethwell if they're bigger.
Yep.
And we also talked about, offsite, like at Bell Park, do
Yep.
Photography, athletic. What would you call that? Sport photography, I guess.
Yeah, we definitely want to do some on location workshops, that we may take advantage of going to Birmingham Park. We may do downtown Milton to kind of do some city walks. We're starting with the basics, trying to get just our name out there, and then we want to build. We want to find out where the little holes are. And we know we have a lot of moms that do photography and have cameras, but they don't really know how. So we want to offer some other options for maybe, like, people who have dance photographers or dance students, or people who have, we have such a massive baseball community and lacrosse and everything. So maybe allow the parents to learn how to take better photos, and get the photos that aren't blurry and things like that. So we may be very specific on, sports or modeling or seniors or whichever. So we're really open to trying anything. So if anybody does have any recommendations, or they feel like there's something that's, that they haven't seen before that would love to see, we'd be open to hear that too. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Star, I see Neil's already chimed in. It was the first thing that came to mind as you were describing your program, was some level of sports photography, not to take anything away from our nice passive parks and all the beautiful landscapes they have, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we would love to partner with the soccer and baseball, and even host an adult day of shooting to practice that would translate into 2 or 3 of those sports. I used to shoot for the Gwinnett Braves, and that is something I'm really passionate about. Well, they're not the Braves anymore, but they were. And so I think together with being able to blend the creative and practical, that's certainly what we're looking to do in the community.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for the overview, and thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other comments folks have? Board members or partners to share with Amanda or Star? Okay, there's my 3-second rule. Tom, next on deck.
All right, on deck is Milton Mustangs Swim.
Hey everybody, I'm Beth Wilson, and my partner Stephanie Minot is on as well, but I said I would speak. We had a great growing program. We went in our first year from 81 to 140. Started registration last, mid-February 2019. And by mid-March, we had about 50. Most were new. At that point, COVID had hit. We decided, you know what, let's turn off registration. Let's not get anybody registered and take people's money when we didn't know what was going on. But we felt like, wow, we have 50 almost new families, mostly young kids, like probably 6, 7-year-olds. So we felt really good about the program, but then decided that with COVID, it really wasn't in the best interest for us to hold a season. There were just too many restrictions placed on teams from the Atlanta Swim Association. And so we just didn't feel like it was a good option for us. However, we've heard from the Atlanta Swim Association that they feel like they're going to be able to host, have a season again. Last summer, they did have one very small where they had virtual meets. They still don't know if that's going to be the case. But if so, they at least have some experience, which Stephanie and I felt better. If we do have to go virtual meets only, that we feel better about it. I think some of the restrictions, like no coaches in the water with kids, is going to be lifted, which makes us feel better, because again, if you have most of your team being 6, 7-year-olds, or a good majority, not having coaches in the water is not going to work. I mean, the little ones, you need to have that. So I think that with face shields, masks, we're going to be able to make it work. So we plan to open registration March 1st. We're gearing up. We have already updated our website. We have hired our coaches and assistant coaches. I'd say a little more than half from that had committed to us for last summer. We offered them their job back, and about half of them took it. So we have a couple coming back who had planned on it and have been swimmers with our team. So we're excited about that. Again, our challenges are just going to be, once we get moving, what the restrictions will be from ASA, because if you do virtual meets, it's just your team, and we're not sure how we're going to work those meets. For example, will we have to have coaches doing all the timing? Will parents be allowed on deck? will we have to work in shifts? My daughter swims year round, and so that's how the year round teams have done it. They've had to work in shifts, limited capacity as far as spectators, because it's difficult indoors. Now with being outdoors, it might work better, but again, the Milton pool is not huge, so we would definitely have to figure out with the city what those parameters are going to be, as well as what ASA stipulates for those types of things. So there's a lot to work out, I feel like, but Stephanie and I feel really good about the season. I think we're going to have a lot of interest. I think people want to be back to somewhat normal, and they know the pool is safe. That and last summer it worked. This pool was open all summer. We were there a lot just as a family, and I think they did a great job with the distancing, and we would continue that. But for the most part, we're just gearing up and hoping that we don't have to have virtual meets, and that we actually get to compete against other teams in some manner, but we'll work it if we have to virtually. So any questions?
Questions from board members, comments from other providers, attendees tonight for Beth?
And Stephanie, I don't know if you have anything else to add. I know you had logged in, but hopefully I covered everything, but feel free.
You're on mute, Stephanie.
How about that? I'm not a Zoom pro yet. The only other thing I wanted to add was Beth and I last year, before COVID had hit, we had planned on trying a new program called the Mini Mustangs. Based on what we hear from ASA, we can decide at that point whether or not it makes sense to go forward with that. But that is sort of an intro for maybe the 4- and 5-year-olds that are not quite ready for meets yet, to get them prepared. It is not swimming lessons. So if your kid is, terrified of the water, this is not the thing. These kids that love the water, are not afraid of it, are willing to jump in, but just need a little extra stroke instruction. So we're going to try that this year if COVID permits.
Juan will be glad to hear Minnie in any sport, since he was a shepherd in mini hitters and appealing to 4- and 5-year-olds. So that's awesome. Great. Well, thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Beth, for your presentation, sharing with us about your program. Tom, next.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies. Next up is Dr. Rock.
Can't hear you, Haley.
Hey guys.
Oh, there you go.
We're a local music school. We have about 160 students at our location. Back in March, we did, of course, have to close down like everybody else, and all of our lessons switched to virtual. So we've been conducting virtual lessons on Zoom. In July of last year, we opened back up to some in-person lessons, and now pretty much every new student that we add to our system is in person, and we have about 60% of our lessons occurring in person and then 40% virtually on Zoom. We lost a good portion of our business, but have since recovered and are growing again, kind of back to like 2019 levels.
We're almost there.
We work a lot with local school systems, with different organizations to kind of bring music into the community. We love to get our kids out there and performing. We have bands, we have rock bands, we have singers, piano players. And so we're always looking for new events to bring our students to so we can show them off. Our school also doesn't really do any print or commercial advertising. So the majority of the way that we get our prospects is in-person events and prospecting. So getting out there, meeting the people in the community, talking to the parents, and showing them how special music is and how important it is to us.
As far as what we do with Milton, we unfortunately have not had a successful class with Milton. A lot of that is because of COVID. But we plan to offer some early education classes. We want to do a Rock City, which is 3- and 4-year-olds, introduction to music, kind of, we call it a petting zoo of instruments. So they get to see a lot of different instruments. They get to drum on the drums, strum a guitar. You know, obviously this will be limited to how much interaction we will have this year with COVID. But under normal circumstances, those instruments would be in their hands. They'd be learning. We hope to do a kids and keys class, which is our 5 to 7 year olds. That would happen here at our school. We're about 2 minutes away from City Hall. So we're literally right down the street. And that's an intro to music that uses the piano. And we have a really fun computer system so the kids get to play games, because everyone knows that's what speaks to kids these days is games. So they get to do a little bit of both. And then we hope to do a ukulele or guitar 101 class. We're kind of bouncing around those ideas to decide which one would be most successful. And that would be for our older students. We don't have anything on the books for the tweens and teens, as Star was saying. We would love to. We have an awesome band program. So maybe, you know, in the future, we could partner with somebody and do maybe a rock band camp as well. But since we haven't had the opportunity to have a successful camp with circumstances outside of our control, we want to start with those young ages and see where we can go. And we're super excited to get this off the ground and have a successful camp season with the city of Milton. So that's all we have. If anybody has questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Questions, comments from the floor, from the attendees? I know as a former program provider, opening day for many of our programs is a big event. We have, I know when I was involved, we would recruit like the kindergarten chorus or the second grade chorus from elementary school to come sing the Star Spangled Banner. Perhaps there's an opportunity on opening days for you all that come out and show off a little bit before the event and then perform as part of the opening ceremonies kind of stuff. So we might be able to connect you that way as well.
We also DJ. So if you have a dance or an event that you just want to add some music, we can do live music or DJ music.
Great to hear. I could see Hopewell Day go with a rock band theme.
Unfortunately, one had to drop off. He had practice.
But I'm thinking there's lots of opportunities, I suspect, ladies.
Sure.
That we might be able to connect you with some other folks who are already in the parks and with lots of crowds. So great. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Tom.
All right. Mr. Coleman, halftime sports.
Hey guys, am I coming in clear?
Loud and clear, Kim.
Great. Thank you guys for having me. Kim Coleman with Halftime Sports. We run the recreation basketball programs on behalf of the city of Milton. I have to honestly say 2020 was probably our best year as far as numbers. Although our camps were down just because of the CDC protocols and guidelines. We could only have 25 people inside of the gymnasiums at one time, but we had an overwhelming response from parents who were dying to get their kids out of the house, and we had a wait list every week of 20 to 30 parents trying to get their kids, and we even had parents that would show up for check-in, so they weren't trying to get their kid in. So we took that as a positive. The fall basketball program is still going on now. We have
Kim, you're up on us.
fantastic. I think, knock on wood, we have over 60 games, I think, for this winter league, and a long time. I think we had 25 or only 20.
Hey, Kim, I think we lost. I don't know if he's maybe in the car.
Looks like we lost him. Oh, there, I see him still.
He was very clear when he started.
Yeah.
There we go. Am I back?
Yeah, better now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. I was saying, yeah, I am in the car, so if I lose you, I have to call back in. We've had over 600 games, and we had about 25 or 26 that were no contest. A couple of them were actually football related. A couple of kids played on the high school football team and couldn't make their games, and then the other ones were COVID related. So numbers were great. Had a great season. The biggest challenge was after every game, we had to clean and disinfect the gyms. And the biggest challenge was actually getting people out of the gyms. They want to kind of linger and mingle around and hang out, and we'd have to clean the gym. We had to get them out of the gym so we can clean and disinfect to get the other teams and coaches and parents in the game. So we were fortunate to have a couple of fantastic partners in Mill Springs Academy, Crabapple First Baptist Church, and Redline Athletics, who were just tremendous, obviously, in letting us use their facilities this winter, because without them, we would not have been able to have a winter basketball program, just because of the Fulton County and a lot of the schools not opening up their gyms to outside programs. So it was a great year. We're looking for 21 to be even bigger and better, and we're excited to be a part of the City of Milton program and family. So anybody have any questions for us?
No, I'll make a comment here. Kim really got affected by COVID and the ability to offer basketball as an indoor sport. And the amount of hoops he jumped through and the resiliency to figure out a way to make basketball work for 550 plus kids in museums. That's possible. I done basketball programs when I was in a previous position, and I don't see how he did it. So if anyone has any COVID-related obstacles, I would recommend Kim as a good resource. And if anyone needs his information, I can get it to you.
I'm open. A lot of that, Tom, thank you very much for those kind words. A lot of that is we created a COVID-19 leadership team. And a couple of the young ladies are on the call with us tonight, and they really helped guide not just me but our program through a lot of the landmines that were out there. So and we're here to help you guys if anybody needs any help, because I think we've seen everything. So we're here to help if anybody needs any help.
That's awesome, Kim. Thanks for all you do and keeping it going and keeping kids active during this crazy time.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure.
Tom, next up.
All right, we got Margaret Miller with Wellsong.
Hi, everybody. Good to see everyone. And thanks so much for sharing the great information about your programs, because it's really nice to put names with faces and be able to hear about all the exciting things going on. So it's been a tough couple of years for all of us. This is now the second year going in with COVID. Of course, Wellsong's programs were affected as well. We do health and wellness programs for adults. And so a little bit different sector of the population. But it's really important for us to be able to provide programs for adults who are looking for community and stress relief and all that good stuff. So for the City of Milton, we provide Tai Chi programs. For those of you who may not be familiar with Tai Chi, it's a little bit similar to yoga in that it's great for flexibility, core strength, all that. But at the same time, it is moving in motion. And so a lot of times it's called meditation in motion. It's very healthful. It has all kinds of great things that happen when people do Tai Chi. And I approached Tom a couple of years ago now about Tai Chi, and he was so welcoming and said, certainly that we're going to look to start putting more programs in place for adults, which is exciting because I think our Milton community is special, and it's nice to be able to have social gatherings as well as the gatherings for exercising together. And so he was very open to it. At the time, I was renting facilities from Milton. And then in 2020, just during COVID time, we were just about to start doing program partner programs. But of course, again, same story as everyone. We had to stop for a little while, but really kudos to the city of Milton, kudos to Tom and Thomas and everyone associated, because in August, we went to Zoom, of course, and FaceTime for our other classes. We teach in Fulton, Cherokee, and Cobb counties at various locations. And so all the students for Wellsong everywhere suddenly were doing Zoom classes, and many of them in my backyard, and it worked. But at the same time, we were anxious to get back together person to person in community. And so Tom was very open to exploring the idea of doing our very first Milton classes right in August, which was very brave, and we were so careful, and of course put in all kinds of protections. And we actually did them outside, which of course, as we all know, August in Georgia is kind of steamy. And so we did them in the evening for people who were working as well. And it was really lovely. We had 2 classes that started right away. We kept them small, did all the precautions. They went very, very well. And several of the students who were in those very first classes are continuing on with subsequent sets, which we've been having at least one class for the ensuing months afterwards, and now have them on Tuesday evenings over at Bethwell Center. And the nice thing, the list of prompts that you provided, Tom, showed us that, things that were challenging and things that were great. Probably the biggest compliment that I've heard from people who have participated, and we have people 18 and up. So we've had 20-year-olds who've been in the classes. We've had mother-daughter pairs. We've had lots of folks attend, and most of them are working since it's an evening class. But the one thing I hear from everybody is that they are so thankful for the opportunity to come in person somewhere. And our maximum in any class is 8 right now, which is nice and small, but they get to know each other. They start to feel that sense of community, because the one thing COVID's done for all of us is really made us feel quite isolated over time. And even though it's great to have Zoom, great to be able to communicate with everybody, there's nothing like coming in. And even if you can't see the mouths for the masks, at least we can see eyes smiling, which is a good thing. So that's pretty much it. So for 2021, we're going to continue on. Word of mouth is always the biggest thing in getting a course started. We have a little bit of challenge in Tai Chi in that we're sequential, meaning that we start a beginner's course, people get hooked, and then they're like, I want to go to the next course. So that group, it's kind of like a flight group. So that group goes on, but then we need to start a new beginner's course. But resource wise and all, I don't have that many instructors that can come in and do that many courses. So that's our little struggle. And in Milton, a lot of times too, people from outside of the city of Milton want to attend. And I know I'm going to work with Tom a little bit just on structure of how we can do fee structures as well, because what happens is people will pay the 50% premium for programs offered by the city of Milton. And I completely understand we want to serve Milton first and make sure they can get as many classes as they want to get. But people also are attracted because Tai Chi is kind of one of those unusual things that's gaining a lot of momentum. I've been doing this now since 2012. And so we were up to 16 classes a week area wide. So it's gaining in momentum and popularity. But people from outside hear that Milton has a course and they want to join, they'll do it one time and pay the 50%. And then I say, okay, the next time we're going to just continue on this. Now we're learning the 40 form and all these great forms that follow. And they're a little reluctant to pay the 50% again. So I'm going to play around a little bit. And I know we'll talk with Tom about this over time, and anyone else that we need to, but just looking whether at any time we can start maybe thinking about some kind of a frequent flyer plan or something for folks who continue on, because we have students that started with me in 2012 over in Cobb County that are still attending weekly. And that can get really expensive if you're from outside the area, but it's nice to know Milton offers a program. So it's kind of that yin yang, as we say in Tai Chi, of you want to attract folks, but we want to serve Milton first. So that's pretty much my challenge moving forward. But I so appreciate the opportunity to provide courses in Milton because I live here and I love it. And we've been here for 20 years now, amazingly. So any questions, feel free to ask and happy to entertain.
Questions for Margaret? Anyone?
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Margaret. Appreciate you being here.
All right, let's do Rush next with adult soccer. Yeah.
Great, guys. Tom and the team, thank you for inviting us all out. I'm actually learning a lot about all the program offerings in the area and hoping that we can partner and find ways to collaborate together. We came before this board, I think, last July and got support to start an adult soccer program. We wanted it to be in April, I think, and obviously we were mid-pandemic, so it got pushed back to July. We started a full program out at Cox Road in September, and we had about 180 participants in the first season. So we were very, very pleased with that. Definitely went above what we thought we would get for the first time out. It went very well overall. The only complaints I think we got was about netting on the backside of the facility because we were playing across the fields and not down the length of the field. So some minor things there. But we were actually very fortunate that I was actually given a bunch of netting from an old cricket facility that was closing down, and we donated that to the city. And I don't know if it's been hung up yet. I'm sure the staff there were thrilled to get this tons and tons of netting just dropped off into their storage. But we're very fortunate to get that. So that was something we could help right away with. We rolled into our winter program. We got about just under 100 participants in the winter program. We were using over at Bell Memorial with the winter on the turf to try to preserve the grass fields. And naturally, as soon as spring programs are beginning here for the youth, we've moved back to Cox Road, and it's rained every single day since then. So the major complaint that I have is that Tom and Thomas haven't controlled the weather well enough for us to close out our winter program. We're very excited about the spring program. We looking for it to continue to grow. We want to get more Milton residents obviously playing, but adult soccer is definitely attracting folks from outside of the city to be involved. And I think a lot of folks probably know Rush for the youth aspect, for youth soccer out of Birmingham Highway. We do have all the youth programs, but part of our goal, I've been with Rush for just over a year. Part of our goal was to partner with the city, and this opportunity to create an adult program provided that opportunity. It now gets us in the conversations and meetings like this, which we're thrilled to be part of. And we're definitely looking at other ways that we can partner with the city in the future, whether that's camps, clinics, youth programs, adult programs, whatever opportunities exist. We now at least have a seat at the table to discuss those things. So looking very much forward to the future. Spring program will start middle of March. We expect it to grow. We're hoping to even beat that 180 number and provide Tom and Thomas a problem with field spacing. That would be great. But I know we'll be able to work all those things out. And lastly, when the schools are open up to after school programs, we'd love to facilitate a way to get in there and do some youth after school programs at the city schools as well. I know that they're Fulton County schools, but obviously within the city limits. And then finally, last plug is for any soccer fans, Milton play Cambridge varsity tomorrow night. So if you've got something free on your calendar, head on out to the game, or I don't know if they might be streaming it, but it's the big one tomorrow night. So the local rivalry. So thanks again for having us. Welcome any questions, and looking forward to a long partnership with the city of Milton.
Great. Thanks, Neil. And congrats on the early success in your first year here. That's awesome.
Yeah, thrilled.
Questions for Neil? Anyone?
This is Joey. I noticed, Neil, you raised your hand to say something about photography in the chat.
Yes, and actually exchanged a couple of messages with Star privately, and she's already emailed me. I think that there's a great opportunity for, we've got a lot of youth athletes and parents love photos. So there might be an opportunity for us to have them teach parents how to take the photos of their own children. And the byproduct of this is we might get a ton of cool marketing photos to use as well with any of our stuff. So yeah, I don't know where this will go, but I think that's an immediate success of having a meeting like this and pulling the groups together. We don't know what we don't know. And this is, so yeah, awesome.
Great. Any other comments, questions for Neil? Thanks for the donation of the netting, by the way.
My wife was thrilled when it was in the back of my vehicle. It really did weigh a ton.
So much. There's so much netting.
That's awesome. All right, Tom, next up.
Okay, let's do NAFL. Miss Nietzsche Lewis.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ms. Nisha Lewis, and we offer flag, tackle, and cheer. So our registration opens up on March 1st. And last season, I would say that we had a total of approximately 326 kids, about 57 cancellations due to COVID, unfortunately. But we were able to field about 7 tackle teams and 16 flag teams and 2 cheer squads, even through COVID. I'd say challenges were minimal. We only had to cancel 3 games the entire season. We had a couple of players here and there that we did have to quarantine. Some teams we had to quarantine and reschedule some games. However, throughout the season, there weren't too many COVID challenges. We actually got through it pretty easy, especially with parents being very honest about exposure and things that were going on with their kids. We were reporting to Tom on a regular basis, making sure he knew what was going on with the different teams as well. So hopefully this season will bring higher numbers. We are hoping to also last season, we were not able to participate in the camps because of all the restrictions. So we've had QB for the Steelers reach out and have some interest in bringing a Josh Dobbs camp in June, and as well as Fury Performance, who also wants to bring a camp to Milton for July, and the Atlanta Falcons, who wants to do a mommy camp as well as a player camp this season. So we're hoping that by June and July, we're able to go ahead and bring those camps and offer those camp style players as well. And let's see, in the past, we've all had the championship games over in Forsyth County. So this season, we've been in talks with the Georgia Football Association for our tackle football championship games to be out here in Milton. So hopefully that will pass and we'll be able to bring our championship games to Milton this season as well. We've been inundated with emails with new parents that have moved into Milton recently, interested in either flag, tackle, or cheer. So every day I'm responding to a ton of emails about registration, reaching out to parents. So we're hoping that this season our numbers will be even better than they were last season. We still plan on following COVID guidelines. We were last season doing temperatures and extra hand sanitizer and trying our best to social distance, which is difficult with football. But we still plan to follow those guidelines and keep our families and players as safe as possible and have another successful season.
That's awesome, Nisha. Thanks for sharing. I hope
and I would like to clarify one thing. Nisha mentioned the 350 people. Now, NAFL also offers the football program for the city of Alpharetta. I would infer that 350 included the Alpharetta kids as well. I believe our number in Milton was 110, Nietzsche. I think that was what it was.
Yes.
Park.
Your number was approximately, yes, 110. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Just to clarify on this call.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Are we ready for the next?
Unless there's any questions for Nisha. Appreciate everything you're doing with the football and keeping all the kids safe and keeping the program running.
Thank you. I love it. I look forward to this season.
All right. Thank you, Nietzsche.
Thank you.
Rhythm and shoes. Ms. Perry.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, I didn't even recognize the name of my own program. I was listening for my name. I am the owner of the Rhythm and Shoes dance program, and I'm relatively new to Milton, but my program is going on 20 years. I have been teaching through the Alpharetta Parks and Rec department. It is my absolute passion. And the program that I had at Alpharetta consistently had anywhere from 150 to 200 kids. We do session classes and we do full year recital classes. We also did the various Christmas tree lighting, the Halloween performances, spring festivals, things like that. Things changed a little bit when I guess Milton and Alpharetta kind of split up, and the 50% more came in, all of that. So unfortunately, I lost probably half of my program at that time. Many children who I have taught for 5 years, and so that was a little unfortunate, but the fortunate part was I did get to meet Tom and speak to him and expand my program into the Milton community. So I've gained some of those students back, which is exciting. I think it was winter of 2020 when I finally started the classes. And I feel like they started well, 2 to 3 classes out of maybe 5 that were full and ready to go. And then of course, COVID. But you know, one of my challenges is I am a one-man band. So it is a little challenging to, you know, to try to schedule classes at Alpharetta to see what would make versus Milton to see what would make. And then with COVID, I've got 2 kids that their daily schedule changes and I got to figure out who goes where, when. Same like everybody else, I'm sure, but I think that would be my biggest challenge. I am super excited that I think it was in the winter, we had 2 camps, 2 day camps that I put up. And those were both filled with 10 kids. So that was exciting for me. I'm looking to, I would like to really just get my, you know, right now I have 1 day that I'm offering 3 or 4 classes, I think. And I'd like to see those kind of build up. Continue to get my name out there. I will say that working in both communities, I'm very impressed and thankful for information getting out on social media and really helping to promote the program. That's been a big deal for me. And I've had a lot of parents tell me that they have seen the information on social media. So I really appreciate that for whoever is doing that. That is huge. But I will tell you, after listening to everybody, I'm super encouraged that you know, I really think that this can work and go, and I'm excited to have a full program here.
That's awesome, Perry. Thanks for sharing with us. Questions or comments for Perry and her program?
I also have a quick comment. Ms. Perry, in the spring when she offered her dance classes and then COVID hit, a lot of our programs and you know, they didn't have much of an option, but you know, they all had to provide refunds or partial refunds for their participants. Ms. Perry finished out all of her classes and did them over Zoom. And I don't believe I remember even getting a refund request for any of those families that finished it out over Zoom. In fact, I remember when she did it, I even joined one of the calls. And it was awesome. It was so cool. I think I watched it for 20 or 30 minutes.
Learned a few steps.
And she had those kids extremely engaged.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that comment. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you. Next up, Tom.
All right. The last of the members that are here is tennis with Mr. Terry O'Brien.
Hello, and I'm Terry O'Brien, and I've been at the Milton Tennis Center. This is my 25th year, so long time. Just plan to be there maybe another 25, I don't know. But it's been a great experience going through all the different overshoots of the country club, and working with the city has been great for me. And it's been a good partnership with our program. We are currently finishing USTA, and we have on Saturday will be the final day, and then possibly playoffs. We have 3 teams, junior teams in contention. So we'll have to see if they made it or not, but that's exciting. And we are could use some great weather because it's been killing me with the rescheduling and the lessons not being able to happen. So I can agree with the other providers with that too. Our Alta season starts in March, and we'll be having a full capacity with all our teams except for the men. But in the fall, I'll be having maximum capacity with the men too. I'll be dividing that team in half to create the final team I could have for having only 4 courts. We are expanding another league on Tuesdays. We're having a women's 55 and over league, which is really cool because nobody really plays Tuesday mornings anyway. So that's another league we're adding to the docket, which will be good if I get some good weather. So, we're talking about finishing the clubhouse, for the swim and for tennis, for locker room use and for facility use, possibly by May. That would be great. That'll be exciting for me that we don't have to use the, mobile bathrooms, and I'm sure for Beth and Stephanie too. So that's exciting, and our residents are really excited about, actually starting working on that as well. I'm expanding in the lessons through the next couple of weeks just to make up for lost time with the weather, but hopefully we get that all in. But I am booked with group lessons and team lessons all through May. So that's good and bad because I don't have the room and housing to take on more people. I am not currently still not doing my little Tiny Tots class. I was doing that for years up until COVID because there's contact with the little kids where you have to show them how to play. So we are still not doing that until things change with the pandemic. But and that goes with the summer camps too. But we already have full sign up for summer camp. So we're looking into maybe doing something like another month of summer camps in June and July. I think that's it for me, but thanks again for having me back, and look forward to working with all you. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Questions, comments for Terry? Anyone? Okay. Anybody left on the list, Tom?
No, but I think it would be appropriate for me to mention Camp Joyful Souls.
Oh yeah, sorry. You are correct.
Camp Joyful Souls is our special needs summer camp for individuals age 13 to 22. We occasionally take 12-year-olds. This is the only completely internally run camp by my staff. Last year, unfortunately, we were geared up and ready to go. 2 to 3 weeks prior to camp starting, I ran into a huge staffing issue, and there was no way I could confidently say that I could run a safe camp in the middle of the pandemic, down 3 staff members. So unfortunately, we had to cancel camp last year, and but we are geared up. We're already doing preparations for this summer. Thomas has secured the buses for the field trips, and we're really looking to change up where we go, trying to find some safe locations for our participants to attend, which will probably be a challenge, but I know there's at least 3 or 4 that we are work. So we just got to fill in the gaps, no more aquarium, for instance. And we have Kirsten Fredland, who will be running camp again this summer. She's been with camp for a few years now as the camp manager. And last year was her first year of kind of relieving me of a little bit of the preparation and the day-to-day grind. She's amazing with the kids and has so much knowledge and experience. with the special needs community. She was a special needs teacher for, I don't know how many years, but very many. And now she works for Fulton County, the Fulton County School Board, and she heads up the autism department or something like that. Some very similar. So we're geared up to go. Excited about this summer. We are going to take a few less kids than we can handle, just to keep it safe and keep the pods smaller. And hopefully, by the time summer comes around, as a few of our programs have said, hopefully we're in a much better place than we are today. And anything else, Thomas?
Just that our registration is open. There's an application process that most of our parents are used to, but numbers are definitely coming in. The families are really looking forward to get back to a sense of normalcy for their kids and this population. So we are very much looking forward to it. And like Tom said, I've got a bigger role with camp this year. I was starting to get into it last year, but with the cancellations and COVID, this will be my first official summer kind of heading up camp. So I think that's it for me in regards to camp, unless you have anything further.
You mentioned the registration. I know the numbers right now. We have 20 kids registered, and typically, depending on how many weeks each kid takes, we have between 50 and 65 kids. So we have 20 kids, and those 20 kids are 87 registrations. So we got to really hit. Now this is slows down a little bit, and then it picks back up in April, May. So we've got some weeks with 13 kids already in them.
Did you say that you have to take kids this year? That you're going
I don't think we have to, but it's to keep it's for safety measures, COVID protocol.
If you had more volunteers, could you take more? Or is it a management situation?
It is. It's a management. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Management and space that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be glad to have it back up and running again this year.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little bit limited, so that'll be a nice thing for everybody. Thanks, Tom. And Tom,
any questions for me?
if I don't hear any, this concludes our portion of the meeting with our program provider check-ins. Again, I want to say thanks to all of you for all that you do in your respective communities, for all of our citizens. We are fortunate to have you as leaders of your respective programs to provide the opportunities for recreation and the arts for all of us. So we greatly appreciate what you do. I appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight to share and hear all the quilt of things that make up the city of Milton. So that's fantastic for us to have. And if there's nothing else on the provider side, the rest of us on the board will continue with our agenda. You're more than willing to stick around. It's riveting. But if you choose to leave, you won't offend any of us either, and we'll give you back the rest of your evening. So thanks again for joining us.
Couldn't say it for myself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, everybody. Next item on the agenda, I guess we don't have to do committee reports, Tom, since we've heard from the horse's mouth here in the city of Milton.
Well, let's go with.
You want to tell us a little about baseball?
Yeah, we had 3 programs not attend. So we've hope baseball. I can. Who's the Esteban? Is it Esteban? Do you have?
Yeah.
No, just the spring season. It's already started. The past 6. So I don't know how many kids, but it's around 600 kids. So that's it.
I actually have a number here from Juan yesterday with all of the programs. It's over 800 kids.
Wow.
Great.
Wow. That might be a new record.
With travel and select and everything together, it's about 800.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is, especially where we are right now too.
We need more fields.
Yeah. We're working on it. Who else do we have, Tom?
We're missing Eagle Sticks and North Georgia, both the lacrosse groups.
Yep.
Joey, anything from?
I know Tim was, I think he's actually at a Milton High School game tonight. And I don't think Dave is on, obviously I don't think he's on the line, but it's really just gotten started. They're in practice mode. I think games are starting this weekend, maybe, I think, but I'll have more next meeting. This is all, everything's getting started. I think the numbers, as you already know, are about the same as they always are. I don't think I remember too much from last season with any kind of COVID issues. And I know this is a little off because I think Kim was gone off the call earlier, but my daughter's in his basketball league, just so you guys know. And it is very, you come in one door, you go out another. Someone comes in and cleans everything up. And with the outdoor sports, you don't need that happening. But I will say that from last season, what I remember, and I haven't seen too much this season for Eagle Sticks, but the kids take their bags, they hang them up, they separate them a good distance. You know, sometimes, you know, the real issue is not the kids, it's the parents lingering around. But I don't believe we had any issues with COVID. But sometimes, you know, maybe someone didn't tell us, but, you know, I didn't hear of any. So, but so I'll have more about Eagle Sticks next time. Right now, it's just getting started.
Awesome. Thanks, Joey.
For the numbers, I have that as well. I think Eagle Sticks was around 240, and on the boys' side, between the Cambridge and Milton programs, they're pushing between boys and girls just over 500. So I guess 260, 270 on the boys' side.
That's awesome.
I do want to say one last thing. Our meeting for scheduling was the fastest meeting we've ever had. Congratulations, Tom. I don't think we were in there. We are on the phone for an hour. It wasn't an hour, was it?
I don't remember how long it was, but it was good.
But it was fantastic. There was no arguing. It was literally, here it is. We already had, I mean, it was almost like it was done before we started talking. That was fantastic. Let's do that every year.
We have some new people involved too.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah. Fun meeting.
There was no pizza.
There was, oh yeah.
A little disappointed. I was waiting for my Zoom pizza. Yes.
Anything else there, Tom? Got baseball, got Eagle Sticks. Was there one more?
No, we should be good.
Good. Okay, great. Awesome. That'll close out committee reports then for today's meeting. So let's pick up item 7, unfinished business, rental rates for schools.
All right, give me 1 second. I will pull up that data here. All right, so at the last meeting, we had discussed the potential for giving schools a discount on the rental rates.
Hey, Tom, can I interrupt for a second? Joey, I think you need to mute your phone because I'm hearing Tom on your phone and it's washing him out.
Is this better?
Much better.
I couldn't even hear my own echo. All right, so last meeting we discussed the potential for discounted rates for the local schools, and I went out to the North Fulton and the surrounding area here to a lot of the directors and got a lot of feedback from a lot of different departments, and it was all over the board. 3 had no discounts, 4 had no discounts. The rate's the rate. Then 1 had discounts, but it was, they sent me the policy and it was very hard to decipher. And then 1 had no rent at all for the schools. There was an IGA in effect that went both ways. I wish it was a little more definitive, but the overwhelming majority were just, you know, the rate's the rate. So that's what I found out from the surrounding areas. You know, that I'll leave it up to the board to, you know, discuss further if there's any discussion needed.
So Jamie, for background on this topic, the question was raised, should the city of Milton offer field space at a discounted rate to the schools that exist in our city? There's been many instances at times where, for whatever reason, they need a field and they've come to the city and asked, and then sometimes asked for a discount. So we were trying to get a sense of what are other communities doing. And as we've heard, it sounds like a great majority are just telling them to step in line like anybody else looking for field space. And you're going to hear it over and over, Jamie, in your tenure in the Parks and Rec Board. As fields go, as cities go, the city of Milton is underfielded. We just don't have enough in every sport. So it is a real challenge to Tom and Thomas to put the pieces together when there are opportunities. So one of the questions is there often even it is not an opportunity to rent field space because there isn't an opening in the schedule. So the question that we've been talking about from last month and into this meeting is, should we consider offering a discount to our city schools for access to our fields when they're available and not already spoken for?
By our own programs.
By our own programs, correct.
Aren't we also considering an all-day rate? I don't know what happened with that. I just heard that on the last meeting.
I believe the all-day rate we had decided not to touch. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, thought so.
Yeah.
There aren't many all days available. It's really off season because once you get a season to start, it's finding a piece of a puzzle rather than the whole puzzle.
So the schools that ask for a discounted rate, what kind of a discount were they seeking?
Nothing in particular. We were just throwing around numbers last month.
Is there any budget dependency on getting revenue as expected from those fields?
No, there's not an expected revenue.
No. The fields are provided as a benefit to the residents and then subsequently to our program providers who get access to them in exchange for offering a program to the residents. I don't know what the rest of the board feels, but I'm kind of the mindset to leave it alone with the one idea that Tom brought up, that if a school came to us and wanted to enter into a discussion that was two-way about them offering us something in exchange for some discount, then perhaps we'd let the public entities negotiate some kind of IGA. But as it relates to one-off requirements from an individual sport wanting an individual field at an individual time, A, there isn't that many of them, and B, we're not going to give them enough of a discount to really matter versus what the rate is. It's not an exorbitant amount of money anyway. I mean, we're a baseball field for an hour, Tom, goes for
25.
How much?
25 an hour.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to give them a 30% discount and charge them, $18. I think
if you rent a facility, you rent a cage. One facility for baseball is 25 per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just one cage. In any facility here and around like Alfred, Milton, you go to there, you rent for 25 1 hour. Just one cage.
Yep. So I'm of the mindset that we leave it. I would think that we'd leave it alone and deal with the requests as they come in and see what kind of opportunities might spark a bigger discussion between the entire school and the city rather than one team, one field, one time slot for $25.
You could always entertain the idea of doing a discounted rate, not to schools specifically, but a specific time. So instead of you're giving discount rates to school or to schools in general, and you could say that hours 3:30 to 4:30 or whatever it is less. You could do things like that. That way, you're not really not even a deal with the school. It's with anybody.
Yeah, the episode that came in front of us was a high school request, right, Tom? Rather than a middle school, elementary school time slot that fits Joey's needs. So I'd rather use it as an opportunity to engage the high school in a bigger discussion about what they might share with us than worry about 1 hour of baseball field time for $25. We're spending more than 25 hours talking about it. Sure. Any comments from you?
Do we need a motion?
I mean, I think I agree with Scott. It's kind of pointless for us to really kill ourselves to come up with some reduced rate when it's, I don't know, I think we talked about last month, it's not used that much that it's really going to make any much of a difference.
Yeah. So today, it's the rack rate. There's no discount. So really there's no, I mean, we could make a motion to say we're not going to do anything, but we're already not doing anything. We're not discounting, right? So essentially we're maintaining the policy that we have. I'm not sure we need to take an action.
No discount. I mean, so cheap is it? It's for, I mean, mega discount is make it for free. So take the field for free. I mean, the discount is.
I don't believe there's any motion that needs to be made here. It was nothing.
Good discussion.
Changes.
Good discussion. Thanks, everybody. Let's move into staff reports. Tom, item B, former Milton Country Club update.
All right, we are really making some progress. We met with the consultants who are doing the construction documents for the building renovation and the pump house as well. And we're extremely close. We're down to the last, the city architect slash Mr. Babashemi. He did his final markups on the plan. A couple of lighting changes and things like that. We've got everything selected. This should be the last send back to them, and we should have something to start getting pricing with. If everything goes as planned and we can get a price that fits the budget, we could be end of March, April, starting construction. We really need to get those bathrooms, as Terry was saying earlier. Those bathrooms that we rent are not cheap.
Yep.
And although they are much nicer than a portable restroom, they are still not, a facility restroom.
Yeah.
Having bathrooms and being able to move some of our programming into that space is going to really bolster our existing programs and be able to allow us to offer more.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So I'm hoping by next month's meeting, I really got some hard news and where we're at. But that's all I've got on that one right now.
Awesome. I know a lot of people be anxious to see something moving up there, Terry and Beth and others. So that's awesome. Next item, lightning detection.
We have officially, it seems like for the last 2 months, I've been providing little updates on this. The detection systems are up and operational and powered. It was a 3-step process. So we got everything installed, and then they had to connect it through the internet. And then now we had the electricians go in, power it up. So they are really, I'm very intrigued by these lightning detection systems. They use the lightning detection from all over the place and triangulate where the lightning struck, and it tells you exactly how far away the lightning bolt was from your facility, which triggers an alarm when it gets within a certain radius. So the accuracy will be much better. So it won't catch the like the heat lightning and stuff when would happen at Bell Park, where it'd be a sunny day with no rain anywhere, and then all of a sudden it would just start buzzing.
Yeah.
That this system doesn't have that error, I guess you could say.
False positive.
Yeah, false positive.
So granted, there's an alarm, an alert at the field level. Do you have some notification gets to you or to Thomas somehow as well?
Yep. There's a list of folks that at each facility you can set up an email blast. So I have all of the programs already on that email blast, as well as myself and Thomas.
Awesome.
So we're all notified. In fact, last night I got a bunch of emails.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool, robust little system. You know,
awesome.
all in a box about this big. You know.
Yeah. Moore's law.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, Wall of Champions. Are we at that time already again?
No, the Wall of Champions. This is the other wall. We've got all of our we've got all the plaques that we ordered. They are in. Thomas, are they up yet?
They're not up yet.
Okay, no, they're not up yet. But we have them in. They'll be going up, and we've actually have this will be our first season where we're going to be recycling plates off the wall. So we'll be giving these plaques back to the respective programs to do what they wish with them.
Yeah, awesome.
So
We've also
hold on one second. Thomas is getting in.
Added our first flag league to the wall, as well as tennis. They'll finally be represented on the wall. So I'm sure they'll be excited when they visit the park to see some of those kids' names up there.
That's awesome. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Anything else on the staff side?
Yes, there is. There's an item E that's invisible. I'm embarrassed that this is not on here. I apologize. We have a new member of our staff that was hired last week, or started last week, Miss Emily Groth. She comes to us. She lives locally now, but she previously she comes to us from Aiken, South Carolina, where she last worked full time, where she was an athletic coordinator. I don't want to steal too much of her thunder, so I'm going to let her kind of introduce herself, and I know she's excited.
Awesome. Hi, Emily. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet all of you. Looking forward to working with you guys. I graduated in 2019 at Georgia Southern. Traveled all across the country to a lot of the national parks. Worked for a year at South Carolina, and I'm happy to be back here in Georgia. So I'm very passionate on and off the clock about parks, and I'm really excited about Providence. I've been able to dive deep into Providence just in my first 2 weeks, so I'm pretty excited to get going.
That's great. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you, and you're under good tutelage with Tom, so I'm sure he'll give you everything you need, and look forward to working with you in the Parks Department.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Anything else, Tom?
Mr. Chairman.
I was thinking on my list after today's meeting, two things. We need to get Jamie's name, get her an email address, because I was looking for an email address today prior to our meeting. I know she just joined us yesterday. But you should also, to help our photography folks, send the sports providers contacts over to them so they get them. That jumped out at me. It seemed like there was a lot of interest in that from today's discussion.
I agree.
That'd be awesome. The rest of you,
and Jamie's email is already set up, as a matter of fact.
Oh, it's not on the website though yet.
Oh no.
Good. I knew you'd be on top of it. The rest of you guys there, appreciate you all being there live today. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Certainly I'll make it there next month. Anything else you guys want to offer, or Jamie, you want to offer to the group as we close out today's meeting? Not used to you being so quiet, Joey, but okay. If there isn't, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn today's meeting of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Joey. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Sean Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Meeting will end at 7:59. Thanks, everybody, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.
20% off.